London, the summer of 1483. Inside the Tower of London, the royal fortress on the north bank of the Thames, two royal brothers are lodged in the inner apartments. Edward V, born November 2nd, 1470, 12 years old, the uncrowned King of England from April 9th to June 25th, and his younger brother, Richard of Shrewsbury, the Duke of York, born August 17th, 1473, 9 years old. In April of 1483, their father Edward IV dies, and Edward becomes king at 12. On June 22nd, a friar named Ralph Shaw preaches at St. Paul's Cross, declaring the boys illegitimate. Their father's marriage, the friar says, was pre-contracted to another woman. 3 days later, an act of parliament called Titulus Regius makes the declaration law. Their uncle, the Lord Protector, takes the throne as Richard III. The boys are reportedly seen shooting arrows in the Tower yard. Then they are withdrawn deeper into the inner apartments. Then they are no longer seen alive at all. Almost 200 years later, in 1674, workmen demolishing a staircase at the White Tower uncover two child skeletons inside a wooden chest beneath the steps. Charles II orders the bones reburied in an urn at Westminster Abbey. They remain there to this day. The Crown has refused, repeatedly, to permit DNA testing. 540 years on, the case is the most contested cold case in modern English historiography. 3 suspects. The first, Richard III, Lord Protector and uncle to the boys. The man who took custody of Edward on the road to London. The man who lodged both princes in the Tower. The man who held the keys in the summer of 1483. Named by Thomas More in 1513, dramatized by Shakespeare a century later. The traditional Tudor account that is held for 5 centuries. The second, Henry VII, Henry Tudor, who won the throne at Bosworth Field on August 22, 1485, ending Richard's reign. Motive: secure his own Tudor claim by eliminating any remaining Yorkist heirs, but only if the boys were still alive in 1485. The candidate carried forward by Philippa Langley and the Missing Princes Project in the 2020s. The third, Henry Stafford, the second Duke of Buckingham, Richard III's right-hand man, Constable of England with Tower access through the summer of 1483. His own distant Plantagenet claim through Edward III's line, led an armed revolt against Richard in October 1483 and was executed for it the same month. 3 pieces of evidence. Evidence 1. The 1483 manuscript of Domenico Mancini, an Italian observer present in London that summer. Mancini records the princes still alive but, in his words, withdrawn into inner apartments, while Richard III held the keys. The earliest contemporary record after Richard's ascension. The princes were alive, and they were under Richard's custody, in the summer of 1483. Evidence 2. Buckingham's October 1483 revolt. When the rebels rose against Richard III in October, they pivoted from rescuing the princes to backing Henry Tudor, because the boys were already gone. The princes were already presumed dead before the revolt began. Evidence 3. The Crown's continued refusal to DNA test the 1674 Westminster Abbey bones. Modern DNA testing, paternal Y chromosome line testable against the recovered Richard III remains, rediscovered in 2012 under a Leicester car park, could resolve the question of identity. The Crown has refused, repeatedly, to permit it. The case cannot be closed by physical evidence today. 3 clues. 2 suspects narrow. Henry VII does not survive evidence 2. In October 1483, Henry Tudor was still in exile in Brittany, not in England, and the rebels of October 1483 had already concluded the boys were gone before Henry could have had any reach into the Tower. The princes were already presumed dead 2 years before Bosworth. Buckingham does not survive evidence 2 either. In October 1483, he had raised an armed revolt, a revolt that would have needed the princes as figureheads to restore the Yorkist line. He would not have eliminated his own figureheads before his own rising began. The rebels had already pivoted away from the princes by the time Buckingham marched, which leaves the man who held the keys. By the traditional Tudor account that is held for 5 centuries, the man who held the keys to the Tower in the summer of 1483 was Richard III. But in the 2020s, the Missing Princes Project, under the researcher Philippa Langley, the same researcher who in 2012 found Richard III's remains under a Leicester car park. Surfaced documentary evidence from European archives, suggesting that Edward and Richard may have survived their uncle's reign, that the boys may have been quietly removed from the tower, that they may have lived under aliases in mainland Europe, into and possibly beyond Henry VII's reign. The Crown has refused, repeatedly, to DNA test the bones at Westminster Abbey. A confession reported by Thomas More in 1513 that Sir James Tyrrell had murdered the princes on Richard III's orders before his own execution in 1502 is Tudor-era hearsay, with no contemporary record. A pretender named Perkin Warbeck, claiming to be Richard of York, surfaced in the 1490s and was executed by Henry VII in 1499. In 1933, the Westminster Abbey bones were examined by Tanner and Wright. Their report predates DNA. It predates accurate child skeleton age estimation. It cannot conclusively confirm the bones as the princes. 540 years on, what happened to Edward and Richard in the summer of 1483 remains officially open. Edward V, 12 years old, Richard of Shrewsbury, Duke of York, 9 years old, both of them children, both of them taken into the Tower of London, neither of them ever proven to have left it alive. Next time on Quiet Hours, the English Channel, December 15th, 1944, the American bandleader Major Glenn Miller, leader of the U.S. Army Air Force Band, boards a single-engine Nordeuil Norseman aircraft at a Royal Air Force airfield in England, bound for liberated Paris. The aircraft, the pilot, and Glenn Miller are never seen again. The disappearance of Glenn Miller. Subscribe for the case's history never solved.